So the build is never finished. I thought there would be a few tweaks needed, and I was right. So while this looked pretty nice to ride, you'll notice one key problem there, which I didn't notice initially because I was confident it would just, hit the road without a hitch. So you see that, well, you'll come to know, you'll come to see what it's all about. Apart from the actual singular big change needed, a few small things, brakes, chain line, even handlebar, few things like that. I think eventually after riding them, I slowly realized what needed to be done and tweaked them. So most of this video, sorry for this, is going to be more of the build actually, more refinements. Yeah. So number one, the seat. Look at that seat. It looks fine, although it looks dirty, but it looks fine. But you'll notice that for a recumbent two-wheeler, you need this. So, brakes are working. Nice. And the rear one, this is the key one, the drum brakes. Managed to get this drum out. Not too difficult, all things considered. Okay. This is the cable. Not too bad. Maybe I can tighten it once I know how it works a little bit. Doesn't seem as powerful as the front brake, but I guess it's not designed to be. Slow down enough, I guess. I guess I could just tighten this a little bit over here and see how that goes. I can't do it with one hand. Can I? Maybe I can. Anyway, you get the picture. You see, there's no fast way to get on and off that particular configuration of seat. Your feet are in the front, and there's like a chunky side elements there to prevent your feet from splaying out and helping you waddle forward, give it a little thrust forward. And that, although it looks good, it needed to be changed. The brake I eventually figured out. You'll see how I did it, but it's like a straightforward thing. It's a little bit old-fashioned, this brake, but it's sort of it's interesting in its own right. Nice and shiny one, the new one I got. Okay, the seat. Look at the seat. It looks almost a shame to mess with it and to cut it out, but I had to. You need the side clearance. Otherwise, it's almost impossible to get started unless you get somebody to push you. So yeah, I had to cut out the sides so that it became possible to start and stop without falling. What else? The rest of it actually was surprisingly not too bad. I think the overall smoothness was better than I expected, and the chain line issue was quite interesting. Initially, I was almost tempted to stick with the pipe because of the problems with the roller and the chain slipping off and the front and the back chain and all of that. So as advertised, chain line management is a bit of a hassle. But I think once you get the hang of it and once you set it up properly, it's not too bad at all. It sort of works then once you've got that config. But it's quite finicky. I think you need to really do trial and error and find out the configuration which works best for a particular build. In this case, she's as ready as she'll ever be. I think I just need to get it out now. I think I've pretty much done all I can without knowing how she rides. I'm going to take it out. The major concern I have right now, everything actually seems to work, is just that I don't know if it'll fit in my lift. That would be quite tragic if it doesn't. But anyway, here's a little nameplate. I can put something here maybe. And this seems nice touch for me, at least for the comfort wise. Rest is fine. Look at this. And this watch job looking thing is just a piece of foam to cover the folding mechanism contraption rigged up there to have this angle, just so that I don't accidentally scrape myself. A little bit of black paint to make the wood less obvious. Not that it's gonna win any awards for aesthetics, but yeah, I can't lie. This is I'm really happy, chuffed about this. I'm looking forward to seeing how it rides. I think as long as it doesn't collapse in one heap, I think it's going to go fairly fast because of the whole gear thing, like I was saying earlier. So the shifting actually seems to work fine. Not the smoothest in the world, but hey, this isn't some kind of 2,000 euro, you know, uh, crafted piece. It's more of a DIY hack job with two bicycles contributing to it and one push scooter. There you go. Let's see how it goes, huh? Haha, it didn't go so well. The chain just got fell off and stuck. So yeah, that was a bit of an anticlimax. The chain dropped, the one connecting the pedals to the middle crank, and it got stuck in between the frame and the small crank, chain wheel that is, and it was impossible. I mean, just impossible to take it out. And through brute force, I thought I could do it. I yanked it apart, and then disaster, the chain broke, so I didn't even get to ride it. So although initially I had just about started to sort of get on it and pedal, so I'm not sure if it was that problem or not, but it is very difficult to start. I don't know if it's just a learning curve to get used to it or whatever. But anyway, we'll sort that out soon. First, I think I have an idea to fix this chain thing. I'm going to create like a DIY chain guard of bits of plastic, like wrapping boxes and stuff, just stiff plastic, and put it in between the small chain wheel and the frame. So that should hopefully, I have a few ideas on how I could do that. Essentially zip ties and plastic sheets from packaging, basically cut into a chain guard kind of thing to stop the chain drop from happening. Also, I think I'll just tighten the chain a little bit if I can, or increase the diameter of the roller wheel, something to create a little bit more tension so that the chain drop doesn't actually happen. So two things: chain guard and tightening the chain, or increasing the roller side. Either way, basically making it high tension so that it doesn't pop off and then get jammed in between. Whew, yeah. The anticlimax, eh? Let's get that repaired, and then I'll update soon. Oh yes, and the plan to cut the seat. Another issue I just realized is that the seat isn't amenable to quick getting on and off. So because your legs are in the front, to propel yourself from a standing start, it's ridiculously difficult to generate enough force and momentum to get the bike on its motion. So I think I'm going to need to cut the seat sides a little bit so that your legs can be splayed, so you can sort of waddle away from a standing start. So I think that's I think that has to be done. So got that started and got to it. All those improvements, those ideas, roller wheel thing, tried various combinations, whatever odds and ends I had. And then of course the seat, I looked carefully at how I could cut it, how I could make it work without destroying it completely, and here how it looked like. Not too bad eventually. And then the chain guard, actually turned out to be not that useful, but well, anyway, it's there now. It's mainly the tension in the chain which helped. So you can see the chain guard poking out there behind. The seat actually worked out pretty well. I had the existing cover wrap below, so that it sort of it still looks okay, and also helps with any sharp edges, stuff like that. The cover is nice and foamy and fairly comfortable even now, even with the sides removed. I put a little bag there so that I could put my little tools and do runtime repairs, if any, on subsequent rides. The piece of plastic off the seat, actually I had to cut out. It was nice, tough plastic, but of course nothing like metal, so not eventually too difficult to cut. I somehow managed to get a more or less okay shape, and there it is now. It's a refined, let's call it version 2-ish post build, with a few changes to the seat, the roller wheel, the chain guard, all those things which came to mind after the first botched ride or non-ride, the first attempt at a ride. So then the second attempt at a ride is now, and it's much better now. I think it still works, though the issues faced were resolved, and I could get it started. I could go a fair distance. I went like about 10 kilometers back and forth, and not too bad, not too bad. It's still, the chain isn't still perfect. Now the problem is that because of the cross chaining at the rear, and then the um issue with I had used a single speed chain, two single speed chains in the front. So those, okay, it's a moment of truth. I'm going to try it out again after all the reparations have been done, all the fixes based on the last attempt. So here she is. A little bit nervous. Hope nothing else goes wrong. New freewheel roller situation. Very simple. Bit of beautification, if I may call it that. That's a plastic bottle to cover up the bolts. Yeah, quite an experience riding this. I had to unlearn how to ride a conventional bike, and also unlearn, I think, how to ride my forward wheel drive moving bracket recumbent. I just couldn't get started for a bit. Had to waddle my way forward and get momentum, etc., etc. After that, I think not too bad. I think the learning process is still ongoing, because the steering is quite unique, right? Compared to a regular bike, it's not your twisting motion. It's more almost like a steering wheel, where you move it laterally, side to side, to transfer the linear, almost pseudo-linear, half angular, half linear motion into the angular displacement for the wheel, left or right. Yeah, so that's, I think, takes a bit of mental rewiring. Apart from that, I think I need to figure out how to fix this chain. Really need to sort that out. It's working fine for a while, but very finicky gear change, I think. And also this front chain has dropped, you see that? And that's what made it a non-starter last time around. So I need to do something. Maybe it's too loose. Yeah, I think I can definitely figure out something to make it a little bit better. I think because the rear chain line is sort of bumping around, bouncing around, and it easily comes off the smaller cog, something like that. Yeah, but otherwise happy. It actually works. I've been on this path, riding it up and down, getting my bearings and beginner's shoes on. Yeah, one idea would be to create like a small tube section, or even half a tube, only some just did the underside, to keep this chain from sort of bouncing around too much. Get it a clear guide to the back. Either increase the wheel, the roller wheel diameter a tad, to increase the tension, because I can't get the exact chain links for the exact tension, and yeah, that's one way. And then, or keep a little small guide there, some tube, so that we have no chain drops at the back. So yeah, just some close-ups to illustrate what I'm talking about. It's definitely not a straight line. You just need to figure out where to make those mods so that it doesn't drop, and to create a way for this slightly non-straight line to work. When in the largest cog at the back. Very, very happy with the contraption here, the jugaad. Look at this, it's an old brake pad wheel from a roller skate. I mean, that, not a wheel, sorry. It's the brake up till here, and then there's a tube made of plastic wrapping thing
Got Fevicol all over my finger as I stuck it in there. Doesn't seem to be coming out in the slightest. Look at this. That's crazy. Whoa, look at that. And my nemesis over here. I can even remove that pretty useless white disc there, which is supposed to be like a chain guard. It didn't serve its purpose. I have reinforced it. Look at that. But not skipping a beat. This little black, I think it was some kind of, I don't know what it was, probably from a seat or something, you know, door stopper, whatever it was. It fit perfectly the diameter of the ball bearing. So I put that outside the ball bearing. Well, I could have just put the ball bearing like I was doing last time, but a small bit of diameter makes a huge difference, I think, just for the added little tension, which makes sure that this doesn't skip. And I think mainly this now. This tube made of a plastic box, lid of a plastic box rolled up into, hopefully this very quick and I mean super glue and this tape, which is the same tape I have used here. I think that should make sure it doesn't zoom, go back flying. And there's a nice bit of pressure applied by this plastic here. I think that tube, pipe, whatever you call it, the pipe through which the chain goes should be fairly, there it is, you can see it from here now. Look at that. Smooth. Well, as smooth as I could make it. It's not perfectly aligned perpendicular here, but I don't think it matters that much. It's in fact found a little groove on its own. You can see that little groove, I think, between the two different ones which I have. In a way, that's sort of, maybe, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. It seems to be off at an angle here. You see that angle? Maybe that is actually what is a good thing, because it's keeping this line straight and then that line straight below. There you go. See that? There you go. Makes a small amount of noise there. The squeaky noise which you hear is, like I was saying, from that chain guard. I think it's too much hassle to remove it at this point. Let it be there. Probably apart from that squeaky, slightly squeaky, and I'm just checking, is the chain, yeah, it seems to be pretty centered. Look at that. It's not sort of wobbling around. It's maybe slightly off center, but doesn't really matter at this point. I think it's sort of tension is high enough for it to work in that fashion. There we go. And there you have it.
Okay, so off with all that tinkering and refinement, this is how it looks like, and I was really hoping everything would work much better now. Especially happy with that contraption for the chain. It actually uses a brake shoe which I had discarded from my roller skating setup. I never used it ever.
Woohoo! So another small improvement, all incremental improvements. This little zip tie here with a piece of packing material, foam rubber thingy, whatever it is, synthetic foam. I think that has made this chain line even further flat. Look at that, one below the other. Can hardly, a little bit, but perfect now. No weird angle at which it comes. It goes straight below. Look at that. Straight one top of the other. Love this. And down it goes.
Nice. Yeah, there it is. So the third attempt was very, very much an improvement over the first two. The seat situation was resolved. Well, it's a sort of resolved. I'll come to what still needed to be done. And then the chain situation was a huge improvement. You just have more confidence pedaling now, knowing that it won't drop or get stuck. I think that little bit of mental confidence is what helps you sort of push more, and then of course that helps you with speed, and that helps you with balance, and all of that overall, it creates a much better riding experience, especially as you're trying to learn to steer. It's totally different geometry, center of gravity. It's still very twitchy. I don't know if it's that entirely up to the geometry, or it's also to do with learning something new, all of that. But also if there's some small changes I can make to make it a little bit better. The handlebars are not too. They're quite rigid. There's, I think, a little bit of play, but quite rigid. But you'll see that it's quite narrow. It's from the scooter. Remember, it's from the scooter, the Razor push scooter. So that narrowness probably contributes to the twitchiness, because you overcompensate every small motion. Yet another improvement based on the first ride experience. Although it was super comfortable on the back, my neck was getting strained just keeping it on its own force, so to speak. So here's my little neck brace / pillow. Looks a little worse than before, but I really enjoyed I literally fell asleep on this yesterday after testing it. I almost fell off. Just nodded off. It's so comfortable. Yeah, looking forward to ride this now. Really adds real nice feeling to the back of the head, the neck, and feels super cozy. Just perfect shape. Also inserted like a shim thing made of tape, so that this is from here. This plastic bit here, designed for the scooter. I think that was a little bit rattly. It's easy to take out. It was easy to take out and sort of keep the scooter away for storage. But I think for a bike like this, with this weird angle and all that, you need a lot of, I think, that structural rigidity, which now hopefully this has. It doesn't click except this way. Look, a little bit of clicking there. I think that's mainly because of the way this has been bolted with 2 bolts. But this now there's no clicking on this, no motion on this, no motion on this way. So I think that will just improve the twitchiness a little bit. Yeah, unfortunately I can't record it. I couldn't record the rides because I was in a slightly precarious situation. It's quite a learning curve. I think it's because of the center of gravity being different, and also this turning it's not like a rotational twisting of a handlebar, right? Because the axis isn't this. The axis is this way, whereas I am just almost like a steering wheel, making it's literally this arc and not a twisting motion. I think that creates a huge difference in the way I perceive. Also, perception of in the past I had made a forward wheel drive moving bottom bracket. I think that in my head the learned memory is as I pedal to pull on the handlebar on the opposite side, so to keep the recumbent stable. So I think that it still festers in my head. I should unlearn that, and I think it'll get much easier for me to be confident on tight turns, and even starting, for example, from a dead start, from a standing still. Okay, yeah, if I get more confident, or if I have somebody else with me ideally, and they can take a video of me riding it. Till then, you're gonna have to bear with me with these shaky videos of nobody but a hunk of metal. And there's the hunk of metal and plastic and zip ties and random pieces of tubes and roller skating, discarded brakes, and so on and so forth. Doesn't look too bad considering the amount of all of those things and packing tape and duct tape around. So overall, I think it looks a lot better than my previous contraptions. It rides very promising so far. Yeah, so these improvements over the first, second, third rides have, I think, made it incrementally better and better and better. And this one, for example, the seat is very comfortable. The chain is significantly better. Still need to test it under load, especially if I decide to, if I decide to drop the courage to go up any kind of significant slope. So that will be the litmus test of how secure and how well done the chain management system really is. What else? Yeah, so this is me in the middle of the ride, just taking a pause, and yeah, works great. Absolutely great. Now the chain is, I'm confident in pushing through the pedals, being sure that all of those improvements in the chain line will make sure that the chain doesn't drop suddenly in mid-stroke. So apart from now my own learning curve, how to rewire my own brain to balance in this different contraption, I think the rest of it seems to work very well. It's a bit too recliny though. I think it's because there's no back support. The plastic seat, despite a little bit of rigid sort of structural support below it, I think it still needs eventually some more support directly below the head. Massive head, lots of weight there. So I think that plastic bending still creates a little bit of additional reclining angle. See what I mean? I think the reclining is very comfortable. However, it would be better if it didn't bend, because I'm a little worried about that bend. Ah, and here's the contributing BMX bicycle. Ooh, yeah, little bit of robot Wally kind of thing going on there. Yeah, look at that. Pretty funny, huh?
So this is the addition made. Support for the back seat. I don't think it was going to break, but I think this will just add a little bit more rigidity and avoid it from becoming even more horizontal. So I think this is a good angle right now. Interesting setup here, as you'll probably agree. Don't worry, it's not the zip ties holding it together. It's pretty much these nuts and bolts over here, and resting the support, little cushion there to avoid potentially breaking the plastic. Not that I think it was gonna, because I don't anticipate this eating into this pretty tough plastic, but still, why not have a little extra cushioning there. That whole zip tie situation, just to make sure that the elements like the packaging piece of whatever it is, like artificial foam, doesn't slip too much. Pretty nice now. And I did a little bit more configuring of the drum brake. Hopefully that's a little stronger now. Had to put little spacers in there, etc., to align it, not rubbing against inside. I had actually accidentally put a washer inside, so I moved that to the outside, and that created, I think, a stronger braking force. And that washer outside basically pushed the drum inside, the drum outer part of the drum, this one inside. So I guess it grips better now. However, it wasn't in enough, so it created a little bit of I think I could hear the sound. I had to put an extra washer in there. What else? That's pretty much it. Yeah, and also the other modification made based on the feedback from the first couple of rides was I changed this screw where it used to be along the axis where the rear axle stays. That in this bicycle, it's uncommon. It's not at a horizontal layout. It's this way at a 45-degree-ish angle. So I think that was my theory, was creating the the rear derailleur to be this way, and I guess the spring, etc., which had been calculated for a conventional layout, was probably not optimal. Although it was working, it was not optimal. So probably this should create a little better shifting at the back, because now the angle is back to default horizontal because of this screw and a little hole drilled into the frame. Similarly, these screws are 2 more holes in the frame in the rear stays. You can see there and here. So this piece of wire thingy, pretty stiff, and sort of basically wrapped around here. Yeah, I think that should pretty much be very solid. See, support it fairly easily, hopefully. Yeah, now we can ride and see how different it feels. Little modifications.
Oh yeah, and to increase the length of the handlebar and to make it a little more comfortable, I added 2 PVC pipe / bar ends. So I could have just bought bar ends, and I was tempted to, but it was a more delay to go and get them and all of that. So I thought I'll just, just do it DIY approach, follow the ethos. So there they are, covered up elegantly in duct tape. So now this is, as far as I can see, complete. Hopefully no more modifications, and see you in the actual ride video then.